Let's just start with this. On January 23rd, the school board wrote to your department and requested a site eligibility evaluation of all school district properties. Have you responded to them?
Yes, we did.
And what did you say?
We responded. First, let me just say, totally understand the significance of the parents' concerns here. Obviously, we don't want any school children to be going to school where there may be a risk of radiation. As you're probably aware, and as we said in the letter to them, that in 1997, Congress transferred the administration and the execution of formerly utilized sites remedial action program, FUSRAP, to the U.S. Army Corps. And that, it's my understanding, they have been doing testing, and they are the ones who have the responsibility and the jurisdiction for management of FUSRAP activities. It's only when a site has been totally cleaned up and finished that it comes over to our environmental management.
The Army Corps, as I'm sure you're aware, says the opposite. They have directed the school district to your agency. They have said, which is why the school board wrote to you on January 23rd. The Army Corps said they needed additional authorization from the Department of Energy, which is why they wrote to you. That is what they have told me as well. They can't do additional testing. They can't do any cleanup without additional authorization. They have pointed us to you. This is what I said to your deputy secretary in February. This is what I said last month. I have not gotten any responses from anybody, not from your department, not from the administration, nobody. I'm sure you can appreciate the deep frustration doesn't quite do it. These kids have been potentially exposed to radioactive waste in their school. The testing found it in the dust particles in the school itself, and now they can't go to school, and for months now, they have gotten complete runaround from this administration. The Army Corps says it's DOE's fault. DOE says, oh, it's the Army Corps' fault. Nobody will do anything. So what are you going to do?
Well, I'm going to follow up with the Army Corps because it's my understanding that they understood that it's in their jurisdiction, and if you're telling me something different, then I have to go back and follow up. So,
well, what are you going to do for the kids to get this school reopened? Will you designate it as a new FUSRAP site? You could designate the school under the Memorandum of Understanding. You can designate the school and the school district as a FUSRAP site. Will you do that?
Let me go back and check if I can, because it's my understanding it was not under our jurisdiction. It would not be until all cleanup is done. So let me follow up.
Okay. It is April. This happened in October. Mm-hmm. The school is still closed. The parents don't have any answers. Listen, I am dead serious about this. Until we get answers for these kids and until we get that school reopened and cleaned up, I'm going to hold every nominee to your department and every piece of legislation. I'm going to do the same thing with regard to the Army Corps.
If you don't love Josh Hawley, there's probably something wrong with you. He is always so measured and so brilliant in the things that he's saying. And by the way, we've seen clips of Jennifer Granholm before. She's a pretty corrupt bureaucrat. But what they were indicating here is there was a school that was put on warning back in October that the school was closed. All kinds of things need to be corrected in this community. And now October, November, December, January, February, March, April, school still is closed, and the parents have no answers. And what did Josh Hawley say? Two really important key things. One, I'm going to tie up every appointee, nominee, whatever the heck you want to call it, to your department because you're holding up these people's lives. I'm going to do the same thing to you. I am dead serious. I am going to hold you accountable. And I love that. It's like you're doing this to average, everyday Americans. Why shouldn't we do it to you? Do you deserve something different because you're a big, powerful bureaucrat? No, you don't. The second key thing that he said was, this isn't a top priority for you because these aren't big money donors. These are working class people. And why is it, unless you're one of those rich constituents or rich Americans, do you not get treated equally? That's where America's gone wrong. That's where Washington has gone wrong. That's where these bureaucrats have gone wrong. And thank God we have people like Josh Hawley who are willing to hold these people to task in front of all of us for America to see and say, you know what? You in Washington are not doing right by the American people. And you know what? It's not even just the American people. It's the children. We are talking about kids, and not just kids. We're talking about the education of children that is being held up. And that's even more despicable. When people complain about the swamp in Washington, they are 1,000% right. And Jennifer Granholm She is the swampiest of them all. I'm surprised she's not part alligator. Truly.